Thanks everyone for coming to Winton Woods High School on this wonderful day. I can't be prouder of 4 young men as they're about to embark on a great journey and taking them great places, hopefully. It is a special day, and parents and friends that are here, you guys should be all proud of these young men. I can't say enough about them. And they've taken this whole program that we've had here at Winton Woods to another level. I think this is the first time we've had this many wrestlers sign and go on to college and wrestle at the next level in any one year. Actually, I think in history, this might be more than in the history of Winton Woods High School. So I'm also very proud of these guys. And like I said, I can't say enough about them. I'd like to introduce them one at a time. As I introduce you guys, just come on up and around. First is Darius Lovett. Darius wrestled 113 for us this year. He was a state alternate, qualified by placing 5th at the district tournament. He won over 100 matches in his high school career and has done an outstanding job on and off the mat. And I'm excited to see him wrestle at the next level. There he is. Go on up. Same level. If you want to go up around. Hold on a second, Darius. You got, I think, some people that want to come up around. Make sure you write on the other thing first to see if it works. Just put your name. May 3rd, 5-3. And then just. The next person I'd like to introduce is John Rupp. John wrestled 132 for us this year. John has come a long ways in just 3 years. He's only wrestled for 3 years, but and he keeps improving every single year. And again, another one I just can't say enough about. He was a district alternate. He won over 20 matches this year for us, and like I said, on and off the mat, great human being, great person, and has some pretty good performing arts skills too that I hear about. He might even sing for you later. But, John, congratulations. Put the manila paper underneath it. Parents, anyone want to come up? Jump, hey, use your phone. Use it. Put that which one up. Okay. Next young man I'd like to introduce is a 2-time state placer, placing 3rd and 4th, and 3-time state qualifier. Holds just about every school record you can have in the sport of wrestling. Career wins total, what was the total wins? 169 wins in 4 years. He's only been wrestling for 5 years, so outstanding work. I mean, I can't say enough about all these guys, and like I said, how proud I am. He's put the time in full year in, year out, on and off the mat. Also, great athlete on the football field, helped to lead the team to Division II runner-up in the state. But all around, great athlete, great person. Cornell Beecham. Put that underneath it. Sign on top of it. Yeah. guys can sign on the other side. And lastly, the fourth member of this crew, I'd like to introduce is Paul McKnight. Paul, again, another state qualifier. And really, this is his first full year wrestling varsity. He spent 3 years wrestling behind Ron Cage, who's now playing football at Ohio State. And Paul, again, great individual. There's not a lot of kids that will come in and practice day in and day out for 3 years, helping other people get ready, like his teammates. And he's a great teammate and great individual, great human being, class act. And I see big things from him in the future. I can't wait to watch him in college. But Paul McKnight. All right, and that will be conclusion of our signing for these 4 young men. I wish them the best of luck. I know we're going to see a lot, and you'll be hearing a lot from them in the future. We're going to be doing big things.
We're here at Winton Woods with the signing of these 4 guys with their letters of intent to Notre Dame College. That's up in Cleveland. And the guy that's responsible for this, I guess he has to assume responsibility for it, is Jason Dean. And Coach Dean, you've been here, 5 years now? 5 years, yes, sir. And in that 5 years, you've taken what was a middle-of-the-road type of program and brought it to really a position of great respect in the greater Cincinnati area. The idea that you can take a bunch of kids that don't have junior high experience and turn them into a Division I respected program is a tremendous accolade. How'd you go about doing that in a short time? I know you did it in 5 years, but
it's a lot of hard work, and these guys get a lot of the credit because without them putting in the time and doing the work, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I mean, them and then getting their friends involved, and and it became a family. And that's what I think was great because, if you look, they're still together. 4 of them, they're not going to go, and they're kind of like the glue behind it all. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, we got Darius. He was kind of like their missing link, the final piece of the puzzle here. But these other guys, it's just been tremendous what they've done in the short time. They bought in, and I think that's the key. Because we got kind of a program in place, and I've been other places and seen it work. And I knew it could work here. As long as you got the kids that want to put the time in and follow the system and listen, this is what it will get them. College, 4-year degree, hopefully, and mostly the school's paying. So yeah. That's the key. The biggest thing is to get them to this level. It's great to have all the awards in high school and stuff, but this is probably the most important step.
What's your background in wrestling?
Mine, I wrestled at Harrison, graduated from there back in '91. Wrestled for Van Reed. Was team captain for my senior year. After high school, I went to the Army, so I was in the military, and I was over in Germany where I did some wrestling, and then during my college years, instead of actually wrestling myself, I think I learned a lot more because I was actually coaching during the years at Harrison with Vance Reed and Mark Ernst, and Chris Baird was there too at that time. So I got to be behind, and learn from a lot of, great coaches, not only him, then, I was at Mason for 10 years, with Coach Mernan over there, and a lot of other great coaches that they have. And then, with Coach Lehman over at Lakota East for a few years. So, I mean, I've learned from some of the best around, and I think I just, it took a little bit from each one of them.
I can't tell you how many people I talk to who are your age and coaching today who talk about their experience with Van Reed. Everybody points to him as being one of the most important elements in their experience. Did you have the same relationship with him?
Oh, definitely. He's still my mentor. It's funny. We both went to Mason our same year, like 13. Well, actually, now it's probably about 17 years ago. And just coaching under him and then coaching with him for 6 years or 5 years at Harrison, and then, going to Mason, still coaching with him. And then he lives like a couple miles down the road from me now. And he's still, I'm going over there to his house, for advice or after tournament, letting him know how these guys do. And what tells you the type of person is that he would come over and help us out once or 2 days, or 2 or 3 days a month, actually, and come in and just don't give his time up. And, he came in at district or sectionals this year even and coached one of our kids for one of the matches. So, I mean, he's still giving back, and he's doing a lot of things. And that's who I've learned from, and that's what I think the big thing about the sport it teaches mostly is giving back.
Yeah, I've heard him comment on that, and you talked about family. And he's been, in my experience, that's always been a very strong point that he's made, is the familyness of wrestling. Okay, so it is very unusual that you find 4 guys spread out across from the beginning to the end in all the weights, all signing to go to the same college. How did that happen?
Well, well, like I said, it's a joint package. I kind of said if you want one, you got to take these guys too. So, but they like to be together. As I said, they have a lot of fun. We travel different places throughout the year, doing jobs, whether it's jobs or actually going to a wrestling tournament. And they just like to be together. I don't know, sometimes maybe a little too much, but they try. When we went up there, it was a great visit. I took them. We stayed overnight. They got to roll around and wrestle with some of the college wrestlers up there, and their coaches were impressed with our guys and were willing to. They're like, hey, we want all of them, not just one. One's kind of like get their foot in the door, and then once we get in there, and then you talk about them like, well, hey, I got this kid, and then I got this kid. You may like him, because the thing about ours guys too is that they got so much growth to go still. Yeah. They're still learning the game, and they, a lot of kids. To get the accomplishments these guys have gotten, it's usually been wrestling for 12, 13, 14 years right. By now. And these guys, this is really like their 5th year. And so they know the ceiling's high with these guys. So, and they know, just take one look and let them roll on the mat, and they see, how special they can be. And so that's kind of how we got them all together.
That's a pretty great story. That took some real engineering. I'm really impressed. I've got a sad thing to deal with right now. And everybody here I know knows that you won't be coming back to Winton Woods next year. And I'm quite sure a lot of youngsters that are disappointed in that are in the pipeline, so to speak. Could you share with us what your decision making has been?
Well, I've been doing this about 24 years, and it comes down like every coach when they finally. It's not that we don't love the sport or the kids or anything. It's this family, and I have a daughter going into high school, another one in junior high, and a 1-year-old. So, and it's just been a lot of strain, a lot of effort. My wife's been crazy, been very supportive the whole time. But it's just I just feel like with both of my oldest daughters playing basketball too, I want to be there. It's the same time of the year, and I like to be there to watch their games as she get in high school and junior high, and be there with them too. Now, I'm stepping away from the head coaching job, but I still feel like you're going to see my face around here and there. I was telling Coach G over there, who's probably going to be the next guy in line, that, hey, I'll still be around. I just not going to be anymore, the full time.
24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right.
All year round. So.
Well, I know that we're certainly have been impressed watching your program grow and develop, and these young men grow and develop. And I want to thank you for all that you've done for Winton Woods Wrestling and for these youngsters. And we at Waycross thank you, because you've been good to us too. So best wishes to you in the future, and we're going to talk to the kids now.
Yeah, talk to the important people.
Okay. Okay, we're going to move right through the weight classes here like a dual meet. And first on the mat and first to talk is this guy who's a lot taller than I thought. We've covered your matches for quite a number of years, Darius, but this is 113-pound wrestler Darius Lovett. Darius, Coach was saying back earlier that you have over 100 wins in your career, and you've been a district qualifier, 3 times?
2 times.
2 times. And you ended up as a state alternate this last season. So you've had a lot of experience on the mat. When did you start wrestling?
Well, I started wrestling my 8th grade year, and so that was back when I was, at another school district, which was at Ross. And so, yeah, that's when I started. And I just continued. I started liking it when I first tried it because it was, it was my thing. Like, I like to, be intense and be in a rough sport. It's just me. So I just wanted to take this up to, high school and then go on to college also.
You played football also.
Yes, sir.
I guess that's required here at Winton Woods. For some reason, that seems to be the nature of athletes here, is that you got to play football. How do you find the blend of football and wrestling? How's that work out?
Well, football and wrestling, they help you with athletic abilities. And so I guess when football, I tried it and I liked it, but I just, wanted to stay in my sport, which is wrestling. And I just thought that I could use football to help my cardio and my strength.
Okay.
So I just took that on to, help me in wrestling.
Think back to the first varsity match you won. Can you remember that first match?
Yes, I can, actually.
Do you remember the score?
Yeah, I won my first match, actually. So
Okay.
what happened was I actually got the first pin. My first match was my first pin. So, and the thing was I was losing at that point. So, I was ended up on my back, and then I just started believing myself, saying, hey, I can do this. And I can, I just got to trust myself and make sure that, you wrestle to win. So I got the pin, and I basically caught him in a half Nelson. And so I got the win.
That's one you'll never forget. You may also remember the last match that you ever wrestled, but I think you better remember that first one most of all, because that's the one that set the hook in a sense, and it guaranteed that you were going to continue. So you're moving on to Notre Dame College. 125 pounds is the lower weight, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you weigh right now?
I'm probably about 125 right now.
Are you?
Or a little under.
Okay.
124.
You think you're going to grow some more, or you think you're going to be able to pound the iron hard enough and work hard enough to stay at around the beginning?
Yeah, most definitely. I believe that I will continue to grow, and I just need to start hitting the weights more and make sure I'm eating well, and as long as I continue that, I'm most definitely gonna move on.
Okay.
My weight.
Do you have any idea what you want to major in?
Business management.
Okay. That's a good place to be. Come with a wrestling background, because then you can go to the mat with those guys that want to give you trouble, and you can beat up on them and get your way. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Have you got any advice for youngsters that are wandering around in the halls here at Winton Woods that haven't been involved in wrestling yet?
All I gotta say is, just go for it. You'll never know if you like it or not. Just get the experience and, this you can actually learn from it too. So like you can learn discipline, um, just work ethic, and you know just simple things in life that you can carry on to your future. And so it'll definitely teach you something, and that's basically it.
Well, Darius, I really hope that the first college match you ever wrestle comes out the way your first varsity match came out here. And you seem to be the kind of a guy that is willing to put forth the effort to get there. So I want to wish you the very best of luck. And we're going to miss seeing you on the mat when Waycross is there to cover the duels and tries and quads that we've seen you in over the years. So good luck to you. And carry the learning, the things you've learned from here at Winton Woods close to your heart.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you.
This is senior 132-pound wrestler John Rupp. John, I was looking at the background sheet on you, and I saw that you only started wrestling as a sophomore. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And yet you managed to become a district alternate? An alternate from district to the state? How'd you do that? What's the key?
Over the years, I just kept practicing on my technique, getting better at technique, never giving up on your dreams. And
Did you
was right.
did you do like a lot of guys spend a lot of time in the summers wrestling and things like that, or did you get basically what you do from Coach Dean and the program right here at Winton Woods?
We did some summer activities over, and that really helped me on getting where I was at the districts.
Okay, that's a big challenge. It's pretty rare that you find someone who starts as late in your high school career as you who gets this far. It's a remarkable thing. And you're going to take the next step. You're going on to college, and you're going to take your shot at it in college. What was your impression when you have been up to Notre Dame and talked to the coaches and the other wrestlers? What did you think of that?
All the wrestlers, they was cool, and we all became friendly with them. So, and I like the coaches too up there, and they give good lessons on what we need to do to push ourselves to the next level.
Okay. How about a major? Do you have any idea where you're headed?
I would like to study sports management or major in business.
Okay. That's actually sports management today. That's about what it is business management, because it seems like every time you turn around, everybody's just looking at the dollar signs, and that should help set you up pretty much. What have you learned about yourself as a wrestler?
Whether it's on or off of the mat, you try your hardest and be very competitive into every match you do, and always come out with a positive attitude.
That's good. That's a good idea. I know there are guys that are on the team that are underclassmen. If you could sit down with them right now, what message would you have for them?
The message I would have for them is to don't stop, keep working on technique, do great on and off the mat, and practice very hard. Practice very hard.
Practicing hard. That's kind of the nature of the sport, isn't it?
Yes,
It is a tough sport. Did it ever occur to you to not continue? Did you ever get intimidated by the sport or by people?
No, sir. I just wrestled.
Okay, that's the way you take it. What kind of ultimate goal do you have in college? You planning on breaking into a starting lineup somewhere along the way? I mean, you're a long way from you've come a long way, and there's a long way to go. How do you plan to attack that? What becomes most important in your planning for a collegiate career?
I would say I will have to follow who's in front of me and try to practice hard enough with them to get where I need to be in the starting lineup in the collegiate level.
That's pretty insightful. Well, listen, we want to thank you for the years you've given to Winton Woods Wrestling and your buddies, this band of brothers that are going to go up there and change the entire world at the university. I'm sure that you'll manage to let the world know where you're from. And so we wish you the very best and hope to see you on that Division II bracket in a few years. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
This is the face of Winton Woods Wrestling, I think, folks. Cornell Beecham Jr., 170 pounder. He seems to have tried to camp at the tournament site in Columbus. He's been there 3 times. Twice he's been on the podium. This last year he didn't climb the podium quite as far as he wanted to do, but he was there. And you're so far ahead of where, 12 other guys in your weight class would have given anything to switch places with you. So you got to keep that in mind, and it ought to motivate you to go higher. So you've been wrestling a little bit longer. You got started in the 8th grade?
Yes, sir.
Were you wrestling here at Winton Woods in the 8th grade?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It was middle school.
There was a middle school team then?
Yes, sir.
How'd you like it?
It was fun. Me and my friend Marquise, we tried it out for fun. I went 27-4, so I was like, why not if I'm winning? So I kept doing it.
That's a pretty good way of looking at it. You remember your first match?
Yes, sir. I won.
Did you?
Yeah, I won my first match, but the tournament I got 3rd.
Oh, well, that gave you something to work for, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you got into high school and you were a freshman, you're 132 pounds then?
Yes, sir.
You've gained a little bit since then. Gotten a little bit bigger, a lot stronger. I'm well aware. And what was the motivating force that pushed you on to excel in this sport?
I didn't like losing, and I just wanted to win. And it was a one-on-one, so I'm like, I can't blame nobody else. If I lose, it'll be on me.
That's true. That's the way it works. And a lot of guys can't stand that. There's a lot of people that can't take the idea that they're responsible entirely for themselves. I think that it's one of the most important things you take away from this sport. And it should do you good in the future as you grow older and you go out into life. You got to depend on your own efforts. Nobody's going to give you something, and it's a big task, but it's something that you've had a good learning experience with. You said in one of the background sheets that I bothered you to fill out that the best thing about wrestling was winning, and I understand that. And then you answered something about the thing you liked least about wrestling, and you put 3 periods. What do you mean by that?
Because 3rd period, I'll be tired, I'll be winded. So I had to just dig down in my heart and finish the match, get the last takedown, get the takedown in overtime to win the match.
Yeah.
Just have to suck it up.
Yeah, it is. It's a terrible challenge at that point when you have to pull it all together and get it done. What would you say Coach Dean had in developing you as a wrestler and as a person?
He had a lot. As a wrestler, he developed me probably the best he could because we did every summer tournament that we could. Went to nationals, state, and tournaments around the area. And then we raised money on our own for the tournaments.
So it helped me realize that you got to do stuff on your own sometimes. And
It's good learning. It's a good lesson to learn. You are headed for college, and I understand that you intend to play football and wrestle.
yes,
Is
sir.
that right?
Yes, sir.
We've got Paul coming up here in a minute, and he's going to do the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Have you given this a great deal of thought that about that kind of a combination? That's a long sports year.
Yes, sir.
Can you handle it?
Yes, sir. I can handle it.
Okay. I hope so. It's one of those learning devices. It's kind of like you're going to have to dig down deep. It's going to be third period a lot of the time during the year.
Yes, sir.
So that's a more than just a hint. I've seen a lot of guys go through, and you got to really tighten the headgear on and be ready to go the whole time. What's the best memory you have of wrestling at Winton Woods?
Best memory I had wrestling at Winton Woods. The best one is probably it's not even a me, it's probably a Jerron Cage. When we was sophomore, he was a junior, and he had to wrestle this kid from Mount Healthy that was 30-0, and it was for the sectional championship. And it was on Waycross TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he lat dropped him, and he won. And all of us ran out on the mat and cheered him on.
That's being a real teammate. What the other guys do is maybe the most important thing around at that point until you get on the mat yourself. What would you say to encourage other guys to get involved in this sport?
It's a good sport. It helps you a lot in football with athletic ability, your balance, and a lot of things. And it helps your mental. It helps you. I can't think of the word, but it helps you out a lot.
Okay, that says it very succinctly. It helps you a lot in a lot of different ways. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So I guess this is the last time we'll see you here. We hope to see you in Division II Nationals.
Yes, sir.
Not too many years down the road, and see the name Cornell Beecham Jr. on the television highlights and hear about you. And so thanks from the fans at Waycross TV who've been watching you over the last 4 years that we've covered you in high school. And we wish you the very best next year at Notre Dame College.
Thank you.
Good luck. Okay, our final member of the band of brothers from here at Winton Woods Wrestling is Paul McKnight. Paul, Coach pointed out over here at the signing ceremony that this was the first year you actually were the varsity heavyweight. How did you bring yourself to go to practice every day for 3 years and be basically, a guy to get beat on regularly? How'd you handle that?
I think it to myself that when my senior year is my year to come.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it.
Did you have to play behind anybody on the football team?
No.
Earn your spot, or were you there from the very beginning?
I had to earn my spot sophomore year for varsity.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Okay.
after that, I've just been starting throughout.
So you're going to go up to a very strong wrestling school.
Yes, sir.
Notre Dame College has had some really outstanding wrestlers there. As a matter of fact, there was another heavyweight from this area. Do you know who that was?
His name, I think it's Cam Teacher.
Well, there.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. There's been a number of guys go to Notre Dame College, and it's a place that places real great demands on you, and you're going to be in a situation where once again you're going to be behind an experienced heavyweight. Does that scare you?
No, sir.
Have you met the guy that you're going to be messing with?
Yes, sir. I've been practicing with him a little bit.
Have you?
Yes, sir.
Did you get a takedown on him?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I'm soon to.
That's important. You get that becomes one of those lessons in life. It's that I asked these other guys if they could remember their first win. In some cases with heavyweights, it's the first time you get a takedown against an experienced competitor, and that becomes the big memory in your life.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing that you can go 3 years in the sport and in your senior year become a state qualifier. What did you find the state tournament like? I know it didn't work out the way you wanted it, but what did you think of the state tournament when you got there?
Everybody there they're all experienced. They all have to all be there, and there was just a lot of people.
Did it give you a real downer when you didn't get to stand on the podium?
Yes, sir.
Have you gotten over that?
Yes, sir.
Because now you can work to get on a bigger podium.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the great part of it. You've got the chance to make it go again. How about you as a major in college? You got any ideas?
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do?
I'm either going to do sport management or nursing.
Okay. Boy, you can be a nurse for me because they need big guys to roll me around on a bed anymore, man. That would be encouraging to find somebody like you. You're probably the very definition, the walking definition of the word determination and perseverance. Did you have that when you came into wrestling?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you just used that to your advantage and maximized it to your own well-being. That's good. That's a skill that, again, not a lot of people have in this world, and you're going to benefit from that down the road. Again, we're sorry to see you go because we have the feeling that you were right on the cusp of really making a major splash in the wrestling world in the heavyweights. But now you've got a chance to do it up north, and we hope that you don't forget the guys that are still coming up. Have you got any messages for those youngsters that are yet to get on the mats or been on the mat with you?
Yes, sir.
What do you got to tell them?
Always be determined in practice. Give it your all. Plus, in a match, if you don't have nothing else, you have to dig deep and find that 2.2.
I like that. I like that. Good luck to you, Paul. We'll be looking for you later on.
Yes, sir.
You go first, and you guys just kind of hang out loose. Girls come over and chat.
Okay,
You got it from here.